Hello and welcome to episode number 332 of Daily Global Insights with 𝙒𝙗𝙤𝙦𝙤. Today we have a lot of critical information coming your way. Please watch this thing till the end. We would like you to like, share and subscribe to our channel and also click on the bell button for notifications. Let's welcome the guest of the day, 𝙒𝙗𝙤𝙤𝙤. Sridharji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, good morning to everybody and looking forward to another session.
So Sridharji, first off, let's take a look at the Inflation Reduction Act that is doing the rounds. So I want to kind of share with you and our viewers some of the numbers, and then perhaps you can talk to it, sir. This is the total revenue that they're expecting to raise, and perhaps you can take it away from here and explain to us what all these segments mean and whether it is realistic. That is the thing that I'm concerned about.
Well, I think first and foremost, the bill is now signed. It's live. I mean, breaking news. It's been signed. It will be drafted into a law, signed by Mr. President Biden. Basically, roughly $740 billion of revenue items, which they have listed. And broadly, two major categories. One is obviously the taxes, and the second is they believe that they will be able to negotiate and save on the what they call as the drug pricing reform. So the top of the chart is the 15% corporate minimum tax. You remember that Janet Yellen advocated that around the world. So that's going to bring in close to $222 billion of receipts. A high probability that that would come in. And what's the consequence of that? We discussed it yesterday. Somebody said, give it to me in lay language. Well, when you tax somebody, when you tax a corporation, when you also increase the interest rates, and the cost of capital for a company has a double whammy. One, they have an increased tax, which means reduced cash in their balance sheet. Number two, when they are charged higher interest, then the cost of funds goes up. So therefore, when you have dual increase of tax and the interest rate increase for cost of borrowing, naturally, it's not going to bring the inflation down. You're going to see the prices further go up, especially for what is going to the consumers. The drug reduction program is great news. If they can get it done, the benefits it gets passed on through Medicare and other types of government programs. Then you have what they call as the IRS tax enforcement, which is penalties and outstanding taxes. They have appointed close to 84,000 people, and $124 billion of money is earmarked against this, which makes up about 17%. Then you have the stock buybacks. I believe that this is something that they would, the additional tax that they're going to levy. That's about $74 billion, and loss limit extension, which is about 7%. The primary concern stems from how they're going to go after these tax defaulters and tax arrears, and how the agents are going to go about collecting these taxes. There are great concerns that people who are in the $400,000, notwithstanding the fact that up to $400,000 joint returns are exempted, you're going to see that specific community being burdened with some of the flow-on effects on the revenue side of the balance sheet. And Janet Yellen went out of the way to say the agents will not be targeting the middle class, but their focus will be on the other earners who have been let go.
Sridharji, this is the revenue expected, but there are some investments that have to be put in by the government. And I'd like to draw your attention to that, sir, now. And here is the investments part. So please explain to us whether these are realistic in terms of trying to get the revenue.
First and foremost, when you have 84% of the investments or costs, you can guarantee. You ask me the question about revenue, I can assure you the expenses or investments are guaranteed, especially if it is decked against energy, security, and the climate change. Now, this is the pet peeve bill of the Democrats, and one of the leading CEOs of the major banks in United States, Mr. Jamie Dimon, went public and made a statement. We must get this thing through our thick skull that increasing gases, natural gas and oil doesn't necessarily mean that we are impacting the climate. It's much more efficient controls that need to be put in place. We are going to hurt ourselves with this climate accord bill and the climate accord expense that is being thrust upon us is what his statement is. So when you have close to $350 billion of investments decked against one specific line item against 423 or $430 billion of costs, then you find that you're going to have the cost. The question is, are the Democrats going to achieve the net savings of $300 billion, which they have earmarked against the deficit reduction? The probability is very, very low given any government, doesn't matter whether it is Republican or Democrat, in terms of the deficit reduction. We've only seen deficits go up.
Now, let's take a quick look at what is happening in the city of New York. Many of these Democrat-managed cities have now become centers of crime, lawlessness, and centers for housing illegal immigrants. Sridharji, I'm going to show our viewers a video of a very iconic hotel now housing illegal immigrants. About 600 people have come in, I believe. So I'm going to just show it to our viewers as to they can see for themselves what is happening.
A luxury hotel in the center of Manhattan is set to become a hub for housing migrants who have been bussed in from Texas. The Row will become a shelter for as many as 600 migrant families. Work is reportedly being done to convert parts of it into a migrant intake center. Rooms that would typically cost guests $400 a night, free for migrants on the taxpayer's dime. Leaders in both New York and D.C. have been furious with Texas, but they're only getting a fraction of what border states deal with daily. Border Patrol agents have made a record 1.82 million arrests at the southern border in the current fiscal year so far.
Thank you very much, Straight Arrow News. And we are going to now continue with our programming. So, Sridharji, this is just the beginning, or is it already on, sir?
No, I think this is what you are witnessing is a snapshot of one specific incident. Right through 2020 and 2021, I live in Manhattan. Right through 2020 and 2021, we have seen many, many people come into Manhattan, effectively taking up shelter on the streets, temporary shelters put up. Some of the shelters came up in the 5 boroughs around the Manhattan, New York area. Now you are seeing that they have come right into the center of Manhattan. This hotel is located in Times Square, in the heart of Times Square. So while Eric Adams, the mayor, continues to blame the border states, who has to take the blame for the gush of illegals flowing in? And it hasn't abated. 2021 was the peak, and 2022, it continues to rise. Year to date, as you saw the reporter mention, close to 1.1 million arrests already. Now, there's another issue as well, which is very limited vetting goes on, whether these are terrorists or pose a threat, and whether some of these people were already taken out of the country, and whether they're coming back, deported out of the country, and whether they're coming back in. There's no such vetting either. So you have a problem that is creeping in, and they all seem to be focused around some of the Democratic managed cities for whatever they're very sympathetic. They allow these buses to come in. You can see they are almost being given 5-star accommodation. Each room costs about $400 plus. And 3 people would be housed. For how long they would be housed, how they would be looked after. All of this is taxpayer-funded dollars.
We should have immigration, yes, but it should be regulated. What was wrong with what was going on? Why this sudden rush? Why are you trying to bring in people without checking? And then the next news item that I'm going to read shows that the border security agents have nabbed 10 more terrorists trying to enter the country. You've made their job impossible. Then you also wanted to defund the police. The police is at 70% of its capacity throughout America. 70%, Sridharji. If somebody has a problem with my numbers, they rebut me. And we have one of the highest ratios of police to citizens in US today. And that's not a good thing. In US, right to bear arms is a fundamental right. and that should tell people, look, there's danger lurking just around the corner. How do we break through this, sir? I mean, you still have 5 months before November happens.
No, I just don't think that there is a solution because the floodgates have been opened. Let me be very clear. These are not immigrants. These are illegals who have illegally trespassed into the country. Immigrants are those who have been given a visa. Until such time, they are illegals. We use the word in the United States, aliens. Resident aliens, non-resident aliens. So these are what we call illegal aliens who have come in, and now they're going to be legalized. So Democrats use a very interesting term. They're called immigrants. Well, how can they be immigrants? No immigrant is given free accommodation in a 5-star hotel, except they happen to be an illegal immigrant. And there's no border control, there's no customs enforcement, there's nothing for these people who are coming in, but they're given buses, roads, planes. I mean, we even ferried them by planes in 2021, which we reported in Daily Global Insights. So I don't believe there's a solution. I don't believe there's anybody in control. Remember, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris is in charge of border. Has anyone heard anything from Madam Kamala Harris on this topic? No.
Iran signals objection to final nuclear deal text and pressure mounts on Biden to ban Iranian president from upcoming UN appearance. You know, this has happened before. Gaddafi wanted to address the UN. They had to let him in, right?
No, you can't. I mean, as per the UN mandate, nobody can be banned. This is all grandstanding that is going on. No one understands why. It's because Obama did a deal. So during his term, President Obama did the deal. Why Iran was brought back when they have not complied with either the norms, enrichment of uranium, monitoring, as well as the continuous skirmishes that are going on in and around Israel. Then you had problems when United States was guarding or occupying or supporting Iraq. You have had problems right throughout. And the first thing that the Biden administration does is to bring back. Now, they know that this administration is weak. Iran is supported by China and Russia. And therefore, they have taken a very aggressive posture, which is to say, we don't want unless and until the verbiage and the language is in support of Iran as far as enrichment and the right to develop the kind of deterrence which they want as part of this strategy. It's very unfortunate. And then you had the incident which we covered and the linkage going back to Iran.
And German Air Force Command has done a rapid exercise, and they have sent 6 Eurofighter jets, 4 A400M multi-role aircraft, and 3 A330 multi-role tanker planes on Monday from the Neuburg Air Base that landed in Singapore, and it's on its way, I think. I'm not sure about this. I think it's on its way to Taiwan. 𝙒𝙗𝙖𝙦, this is another new development.
It is. It's a reflection that Europe is no longer taking it easy. They recognize there's a major problem brewing. Just to clarify, the major problem brewing around not just Taiwan, but broadly across the Indo-Pacific. So this particular rapid force, as the Germans would like to call it, had its first halt in Singapore. It will then make its way to Japan, Korea, and then finally, we covered this yesterday, participate in joint exercises with the Australian Air Force. But when you look at this fleet, it is very impressive, and they have demonstrated that Europeans can land in the war zone in 24 hours, a significant development, but also a significant movement from the Europeans in terms of what's happening. So the epicenter now has shifted from elsewhere in the world to Indo-Pacific.
Absolutely, sir. Could agree with you more. Viewers, there is one item that we want to cover in detail today evening, which is the 𝙒𝙗𝙣𝙤, the spy ship that has landed there. What are its, what can it do? that it could not have already done. So there's a lot of stuff that we are going to be doing. That is going to be a live conversation with General Ravi Shankar, espionage, counter-espionage, measures, countermeasures, countermeasures, and so on and so forth. So do join us for that. Today, I'm just going to say that the ship is indeed docked, but they're expecting it to be there only for 2 days. So we'll have to wait and see when it leaves. But be that as it may, there's some interesting information that is headed your way. Sridharji, thank you very much, sir. And we will see you again tomorrow and same time. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And do put in your comments on the presentation. If you think that you liked our work, we do a lot of research trying to bring you professional content. And we are always, that we are ahead of everybody else. We are the tip of the spear from where people pick up, and then the story starts becoming huge. And this is not just in India, but also all over the world. Thank you very much, Sridharji. See you tomorrow. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar and have a wonderful day.